back to the beginning. How did you discover your passion for the arts and storytelling?
Wow, that's a cool question. It's kind of been my whole life. Like when I was 10, I just remember my dad having like the video camera and just enjoying like being in front of it and playing different characters and kind of performing, and he was encouraging of it. And then I signed up for like a community theater, like Jesus Christ Superstar production, and I got cast in the ensemble as like a little 10-year-old, and I was just like, this is awesome. I love doing it. And then just from there, I did like summer camp for singing actors. I was doing all the plays and musicals in high school. And I just remember like doing the curtain calls like my senior year. And I was just like, I don't want to do anything else. Like nothing else is going to make me this happy and this fulfilled. So I left after high school to LA to pursue it professionally. And much harder, than I thought. I thought it was just like, open calls everywhere and you just go in and audition for like a Spielberg movie, and I was like, oh no, you have to be union and like get an agent and the whole thing. But like a couple little jobs here and there in between valeting and restaurant work, and then I got Glee when I was like 22 after being here for like 4 years. And then since Glee, it's kind of been like now my career, thank God. But so yeah, that's kind of how I just love doing it and always have.
Who or what would you say has had the biggest influence on your career, either personally or professionally?
Oh, great question. Two names that come to mind: Ryan Gosling. I saw him very early on in a film called The Believer, where he played a guy that was raised Jewish and then became a Nazi. And it was one of the most like complex characters I'd ever seen on film, and one of the most nuanced performances. And I was like, wow, like that's amazing. Like that's something I would love to strive for and like be able to be as good and believable as him. But weirdly enough, there's an actor named Garrett Hedlund who I went to high school with, and we were in choir together, and he left high school early and booked Troy playing like Brad Pitt's little cousin. So it was like the first person that I was like, whoa, like we were just like doing a chorus concert together in Arizona, and now you're like in Malta shooting with like Brad Pitt and Orlando Bloom. This might be more possible instead of just like this unobtainable dream. And that was like, all right, maybe I should actually move to LA and like consider giving it a go. So those were some influences. Yeah.
And you got a new film out now. Can you tell us about Along Came Wanda and your character in it?
Yeah, so Along Came Wanda came about because Jan Miller Karan was the writer, director, producer of this, but she also wrote and produced another movie I was in called Snapshots. So we just met and jived. I loved her soul, her energy, her creative spirit, her like the love for humanity, telling good stories. So she called me up and said that she has this movie that she's doing, and it's during the pandemic, and she knows I have a little baby, but she would love if I could play this role that's small, one day of filming, but very important and integral to the story because it kind of kicks off Constance's journey of going to find herself and live out her dreams and pursue her passions. And it's kind of, we're both, we split, and we're kind of both giving permission to each other to live the life we want now as these new people in this new world. And I found it really interesting because I feel like a lot of times when I see a breakup or a divorce on camera, it's just very mean and vicious and bottles are being thrown and slaps or whatever. This was like very interesting because I feel like a lot of times it's kind of an amicable split. She's kind of like, look, like there is a love for you. There is a care for you. We have a kid together. We have this house together, but like, we're just not in it anymore. Like you want this, I want that. Like, let's call it like, goodbye. And it's so hard to do that. And I just wanted to be a part of telling that story, especially in these days when I think all of our priorities are shifting and all of our dreams are changing and our goals. So yeah. And I just would do anything that Jan writes. I thought the story was impactful. I thought it was about finding yourself, discovering, who you are and what you want, which is probably something we're all kind of waking up thinking about as this world is just changing rapidly. So yeah, I just wanted to be a part of that and see what it was like filming in a pandemic, which is crazy because but again, testament to Jan, because what I love is the camaraderie of a casting crew, and it's like all these strangers come together and there's this magic of like we're telling a story together. And I was like, oh no, that's going to go away when we're all distanced and masked. But Jan still somehow created this intimacy and this warmth, even though everyone is distanced and masked and tested. But there was just a safety that allowed us to play and escape for, in between action and cut, and just tell this story, and be a part of this other world for, a few short minutes here and there. And it was just very fulfilling and rewarding. So I'm glad it's finally coming out on Valentine's Day. And I think it's great because couples can watch it, but also, like, if you don't have a love on Valentine's Day, it's all about, your own self-discovery and your own journey. So I think it's just like a perfect Valentine's movie, because it kind of hits all the marks.
You've done it all throughout your career. What was it about this particular character that stood out to you, and what was that preparation like?
Well, a lot of the career has been younger, like college roles or high school or frat boys or cops. Or this was just like what I am now, like a husband and a man, and dealing with complex issues, and where he wants to go, where the marriage is going. And it was something I had never played before, and had never been given the opportunity to play. And something now that, thank God right now, knock on wood, my marriage is great. But many friends now are like, 10 years ago it was everyone's getting married. And now we're at the phase where people are starting to like divorce, and it's like, it's just a lot. So I was like, let me explore that. Let me kind of put my head in that world for a second. What is that like? And how do you make that decision? And again, it's complicated, but that's why I wanted to play it. It's like Ryan Gosling, like, not that I'm nearly as good, but the complexity of, how, like, you've had this life with someone, their family, you've been intimate, there's a trust, there's a bond, you've shared goals, you have a kid together, and you finances, everything. And like, boom, like now we're going to choose to like say la vie, like have your own life. And I'm going to go this way and fall in love with this person and pursue this dream. And you're going to do that. And like, we're just going to kind of, wipe the slate clean of like, 17 years of being together and developing memories. And I'm just like, wow, what is in that headspace to get to that point? Let me kind of jump in and explore that. And working with Constance was great because we met that morning and just immediately we're like, all right, so what's going on? Like, what do you think? What do I think? What led us here? How do we feel? Where did we meet? When did it go wrong? And we just started kind of talking and brainstorming, and then it was like time to roll, and we just went right into it. Had a great chemistry and a great rapport. Yeah. It was awesome working with her. Jan let us kind of, make some choices here and there, and play and just try things, but really it was all in her writing and all in the script. And it was all kind of there, like the backstory, everything was kind of there. And it was very kind of easy just to jump in and play and have fun with it and explore, what that looks like in this world.
Yeah, and at the center of this film is this life-changing journey. For you, what's been the most impactful moment in your career thus far?
I mean, having a baby has been pretty wild. That there was that week, so March 27th, he was born. March 25th, my wife's mom unexpectedly passed away. And then that night, my wife went into labor, and then there was the pandemic. And so that, still dealing with all that, obviously, but that was a wild, tough week. And it was a kind of going from like, innocent boy to like, cool, like we're going to have everyone around, everyone's going to help, we're having a baby. And like, we're going to go to all the classes and the playgrounds. And it was like, whoa, like this just got really hard. Like there's no diapers at the store. There's no wipes. Like I can't get eggs. I'm like a man now. I have to like step up and like provide and be there in this really tough time. So that was like a crazy head switch that like I didn't really have time to like prepare for. Nobody knew there was a pandemic that was going to last, 2 years and going. So I think that, personally, and that's affected just everything about who I am now and the way I see the world, and that goes into my career. As far as like I guess the more mundane answer, I mean, Glee. Like Glee was an incredibly huge show, and it was quite a complex role, to play a bully who was bullying because he was a homophobe, and because he was gay, and then there was a suicide attempt, and it's like a dream role that kind of developed after I'd already been cast, and no one really knew it was going to go there, including the writers. So yeah, to get to play that role when cyberbullying was like at the peak of the news and suicides were happening, and it was like kind of the water cooler conversation of like, this is, tragic and terrible, and like, what do we do about this? And to get to play that on a show that had millions of viewers every week was just a game changer for me, of like, okay, like validity, like I can do this on like a legit level. And also the realization of how powerful media can be and how influential shows and movies can be to people's lives, and the decisions and the choices that they make. So yeah.
Yeah, great answer. The perfect segue to this next question, but you've played so many complex characters throughout your career. What is your vetting process like to figure out what roles you want to go after?
Whoever hires me. Yeah, I wish I could be cooler and be like, I'm making choices, but no, it's a crazy time. I guess luckily the roles that I've been hired to do have been complex. Like I don't know. And I feel like that's, a lot of roles are kind of like a little bit of who you are and then a little bit of the imagination and the pretend. And I just feel like my whole life there's been like this, I kind of look like this very imposing, scary guy, like a big dude, macho manly man. But inside there's an artist, and I'm very sensitive and gentle. And so I think I like the idea of the exterior and the interior kind of being like juxtaposed. And so when I get a role that allows me to kind of lean into that, I think that I can shine, or hopefully bring something to it that many people maybe haven't lived with for 35 years, 36 now as of a few days ago. And thanks. So yeah, I think I don't know, it just kind of goes hand in hand, and it's the roles that I'm really passionate about and drawn to. So maybe I just give a little bit extra or something in the auditions, but I don't know. Yeah, but I am fortunate to get to play some of those roles. Even like I did Switched at Birth, and I was cast as like kind of just like a frat boy, like jokester, class clown, and that kind of evolved into like, oh, there was like a college rape scandal at the forefront of it, and it was like, who's this like jokester who like might have done something really dark, and just fascinating to play that, because I think we're all showing one version of ourselves to the world, and then there's something underneath that maybe you live with in private time, or only certain people know. And I think so to get to play that, it's pretty cool to just kind of hold a mirror up to society.
Belated, by the way, and you touched upon this
Thank you.
already, but one of the central themes within this film is about finding joy and hope in the middle of this pandemic. How are you able to find that for yourself during these past few years?
I think it's the priorities, my family, and find like these little moments of like appreciating that we're alive, appreciating when we're healthy, going outside for a walk and listening to the birds chirp, and the trees blowing, and being there, with family and friends and laughing. And I think that you realize how fleeting it all is, that like, at the drop of a hat, like the world can change. The world probably did change forever. Like I worry about my son's future in schools and like Zoom learning, and what that means for social skills and everything. And there's just so much anxiety and so much worry. Literally today, like my son was exposed to someone who's positive at his daycare. So now the daycare shuts down. We have to go get him tested. We have to get tested. It's like, this wasn't in my head 2 years ago. And it's just like this constant kind of anxiety that I live with, that we all live with. So I think it's like the moments of respite when you're just like, when you can laugh, or when you can appreciate just being here, and that we're all in it together and we're all going through the same thing, is kind of a unifying experience, whether people think one way about it or not. Like we are living in this time together. So it's pretty interesting, and I'm interested to see how it all kind of unfolds. But yeah, I think it's just kind of appreciating the little things, when you can, and taking time to be grateful for what we do have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the film has made its way around the festival circuit. It's been incredibly well received. What do you think is resonating most with audiences, and what do you hope they take away after they see it?
Well, yeah, I mean, awesome. Again, Jan's writing is just phenomenal. It's just real and nuanced and complex, and the performances, from Constance to Kathy to everyone in the cast brings it, and they're all so good, and I'm so proud to be a part of it, and I just hope people take that, again, like life is short and it's fleeting. And I think like going after what you want and going for your goals, chasing down your dreams, being in love with who you want, just giving yourself permission to be yourself, I think is what I would want people to take away from it. and kind of moving forward, not living their life for anyone else, but living life for yourself, and feeling fulfilled and not letting it pass you by. So I hope it gives people hope and kind of encouragement, and not to destroy your lives as they are, but but to to reassess and just make sure you're kind of on the right track, and get in touch with your younger self, and would my younger self be happy now in this current situation? And Wanda, everyone really went through an arc of they could be happy, but are they settling? And once they make that switch of what they're going to do or what they're going to pursue or who they're going to pursue, it was like, oh my gosh, I was missing this joy and this fulfillment. So I think if it causes everyone to kind of reflect and reassess, that would be a sweet goal to achieve.
Question for you. Besides this film, where can fans see you next?
I'll be on The Flash. I did an episode of The Flash a couple of years back. I think March 23rd. I'm back on it in a very, very big way. More shooting fire, but also they added some complexity. I won't say anything, but there's a whole backstory that's going to unfold. So that's a pretty big episode, and I'll be there. And then I'm doing a convention for Glee and The Flash. As of now, we'll see what happens with COVID, but I'll be in Liverpool. I think May 21st and 22nd, doing a convention with a lot of the other Glee cast. And then there's a movie now called Hot Water, which is like a jet ski action comedy movie that's streaming right now. It's already out there. So yeah, that's what's going on, and hopefully some more soon.